House and Senate leaders have been rushing this week to finalize the annual must-pass Defense Authorization Act, and they were negotiating over various proposals to include. And while there are some outstanding issues, one that was put to rest, thankfully, yesterday was a provision that barred states from regulating artificial intelligence. That was being pushed by the Trump administration. Now, that provision has reportedly been removed, and my next guest is among those who have been advocating for that and is now applauding that move. Join me now by phone to talk about this, U.S. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, who serves on several Senate committees, including the Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. Senator Hawley, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell our listeners why you were so concerned about this provision that had been tucked into the National Defense Authorization Act, a must-pass piece of legislation that would have put a moratorium, would have restricted the ability of states to regulate AI.
Well, this is really a giveaway to the big corporate interests. And Tony, we defeated it on the floor of the Senate already once this year, 99-1 back in July when we passed the president's big reconciliation bill, the big beautiful bill. Some folks tried to insert it there. Why is it a bad idea? Because it would prevent states or municipalities, from that matter, from doing things like regulating and stopping deepfake porn. It would stop states from protecting children online. It would prevent states from protecting kids' images, from protecting children's communications. It would basically say no regulation that touches AI can remain in force in the states. And I'm sure that there's some crazy regulation out there that's not a great idea in some of these states. Of course, that's why we have federalism and believe in the laboratory of the states. But there is a lot of great protections for kids from pornography, from the porn industry as a whole, from the exploitation of child traffickers online. We want them to be protected, and I want to see those regulations and those protections stand.
We don't often see good policy coming out of Washington, D.C. Most of the time we're on the defense, killing bad stuff. So if it were up to Washington to protect children, I'm not sure it would get done.
Oh, it would never get done. And in fact, it hasn't gotten done in social media. I mean, you look around, who is taking the lead in preventing cell phones, for example, from being used in deepfake porn in schools? It's the states. Who is protecting parents and their right to say, I don't want my kid tracked online? It's the states. Who's going after child traffickers online? It's the states. So to your point, you're seeing states, and by the way, this is mostly red states we're talking about, Republican states with Republican majorities, great Republican governors who are saying we are going to stand up to the child pornographers. We're going to stand up to the child traffickers. We're going to protect families. Why would we want to cut their legs out from under them? We should be supporting them and cheering them on.
Well, and for the benefit of our viewers, I want to go back. You were Attorney General of Missouri. You have long been trying to rein in the big tech industries that have been exploiting children and users. So you know a little bit about this.
I've been on this for a long time, and really, Tony, this all originates in the fact that I'm myself a parent of three young children, and I think about every day, what might my kids be exposed to online? My kids aren't even allowed to have phones, and yet I worry as a parent, what might they encounter? And I saw as a prosecutor just the links that people online, predators online, traffickers online are willing to go to, and frankly, what these tech companies are willing to do to make a buck. All you have to do is look out now and see what these AI companies are doing, creating AI companions for minors that are introducing kids to the idea of self-harm, to the idea of suicide, and actually coaching them through it, encouraging them to do it, and sadly, in the numerous cases, kids have taken their own lives at the behest of these AI chatbots. Is that really something that we want to say to states, no, you can't stop that? We should be saying we need to protect our kids and give power back to parents. That's why preventing a moratorium is so important.
So is this being driven by big tech here in Washington, D.C. to try to keep the states out of it?
Yes, 100%. It's being driven by big tech in Silicon Valley, but of course spending money in Washington, D.C. to try to make sure that there's no restrictions on anything that they want to do. These are the same people, let's not forget, who suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story, who routinely try to rewrite history on Google and the other main search pages to put forward liberal causes, liberal interpretations, the 1619 Project, saying that America was founded in slavery. These same platforms have been pushing all of these lies for years. They're the ones now who want a special deal and don't want to be regulated or called to account in any way.
And they have had basically immunity at the federal level. And that's been the issue.
They still do.
Yeah. And so this is
right.
even giving them even more wide berth to do what they want to accomplish. So we just have about a minute and a half left, Senator Hawley. Is the issue dead, or might it come back in another piece of legislation?
Oh, I don't think it's dead at all. I think big tech is absolutely adamant about this. They're willing to spend any amount of money on it. I would absolutely anticipate that there will be further efforts to try and stop the states from protecting children, from empowering parents. So we've got to remain vigilant, ready to fight here. This is really about protecting the integrity of our families.
Right.
As a father, that's what this fight is about for me, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Is there any chance, I mentioned this a moment ago, but the immunity under which the social media platforms operate, there had been conversations back during the Biden years when they were suppressing and they were targeting conservative speech. Is there any chance that we might see that immunity removed where people can actually take legal action against them?
I hope so, and we should begin with allowing the parents of children who have been trafficked online, who have been victims of child pornography online, or have had their images taken and turned into porn. We should allow those parents of those children to sue companies who knowingly host that material. That would be the greatest place to start, Tony.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Senator Josh Hawley, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for taking time to join us today.
Thanks for having me.